Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
800-848-9222. Dominic Carter here with you. And we're going to have a great show this morning, but get ready because here it comes. Life-threatening Arctic blast to hit the eastern U.S. New York City alone facing the strong possibility of a foot of snow. But again, it's hitting the eastern U.S., so get ready wherever you live for what may be coming ahead. Lots of things going on that we need to talk about. And one thing that I'm glad it's almost coming full circle, if you will, the corruption in Minnesota. Let's not forget the $9 billion that's been lost in Don Lemon and these anti-ICE protesters and Renee Good. Let's not forget the $9 billion in corruption, in which it appears most of it lies at the head, if you will, of the Somali community in Minnesota. So who testified on Capitol Hill? The young man that has brought all of this about, the YouTuber Nick Shirley, and here's what he had to say.
I'm here today to speak on behalf of all hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens here inside of the United States. I've helped bring to light widespread fraud that's happening inside our nation, and we the people have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters as if it's no big deal. As I speak here, I want to ask everyone a question. How much do we trust when we pay our taxes it's going to benefit our nation? People erupted during the Boston Tea Party over just a few percentages as they believed they were being taxed without representation. Nowadays, we have the representation, but do we trust our representatives? My name is Nick Shirley, and I made a 41-minute video that I posted on platforms like X and YouTube. My video received over 100 million views, and it created instant change within our government.
Sure did, Nick Shirley, and it appears to have brought down the governor of this state, Governor Dum Dum, Tim Walz. So the President of the United States announces the framework of a deal on Greenland, and it's a wonderful thing. Yet again, Mr. Trump has delivered. President Trump has delivered. What does Whoopi Goldberg do on The View? And it's another illustration of, frankly, just how crazy the far left has become. And it's reached the point of how long is ABC going to leave this show on the air, unchecked, far left politics, no point of view from the other side. So the president, after the speech, announces the framework for a deal on Greenland. And what does Whoopi Goldberg do? On The View, she says it's time to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from office.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
I didn't know if he'd moved on to another piece.
Amendment. Right, it's time.
25th Amendment is time. It's time. It's time.
To that point, you would be in a lot of company. You believe at this point that the President of the United States may not have his full faculties?
I felt that before now.
Yeah, but the cherry on the cake was yesterday.
Well, no, there's been a lot of cherries on the cake. There have been several. The cherries on this cake are enormous.
Yeah.
There are
It's
so
a cherry
many.
tree.
There are the lines in the sand.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a stamp. There's so many lines in the sand.
Even his.
So Whoopi Goldberg is a B-list actress at best, a horrible comedian and now she's an expert in politics? How did this come about? You just literally picked someone from the entertainment world and said, now you talk about politics 5 days a week. But even worse than that, you're not fair, you're not objective, and most importantly, you don't know what you're talking about. That's what's on TV each and every day. In the speech from Switzerland, President Trump, even there, he addressed the widespread fraud that is existing in Minnesota, taking a swipe here, who at the Congresswoman where her finances are under scrutiny now, Ilhan Omar.
The situation in Minnesota reminds us that the West cannot mass import foreign cultures which have failed to ever build a successful society of their own. I mean, we're taking people from Somalia, and Somalia is it's not a nation. Got no government, got no police, got no military, got no nothing. And then we have this fake congressperson who they just reported is worth $30 million. You believe this? Ilhan Omar, talking about the Constitution provides me. She comes from a country that's not a country, and she's telling us how to run America. Not going to get away with it much longer, let me tell you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I can't wait. I hope she's deported, the Congresswoman. I hope she's sent back to Somalia just to see that smug smile ripped off her face. And as far as the welfare fraud, primarily from the Somali community in Minnesota, President Trump says those days are coming to an end.
We're cutting illegal aliens off welfare and other government benefits, and I have directed that starting immediately, there will be no more payments to sanctuary cities because they are really just sanctuaries for criminals. They're really protecting criminals, and those are the ones we have to get out of the country. Murderers, drug dealers, the mentally insane. They emptied their mental institutions into the United States.
President Trump there making that comment. Now let's switch to Don Lemon. So we're awaiting these arrests that Secretary Kristi Noem says are coming. Megyn Kelly has been excellent on this topic. Here's the latest of what she has to say, because Don Lemon, what he did in Minnesota, that's an open and shut case. He's got legal problems.
He did something very dumb, Dave, and it was the same thing that Timothy Busfield did. He spoke out about his alleged crime in a way that no lawyer would have wanted him to. Timothy Busfield spoke directly to police and made a bunch of admissions that came back in his face yesterday. And Don Lemon, speaking with the angry lady, made a bunch of admissions there about targeting these churchgoers for a specific reason, that they're doing the exact opposite of Christianity, that he believes they target people of color, they're racists, they're white supremacists, they have a sense of entitlement, that they don't practice Christianity the way I practice Christianity. That's what he actually said on camera. I mean, it went on and on. He it's not enough to say he tripled down. He quintupled down on this messaging, which is not great for his defense lawyer.
Now, as for Don Lemon himself, he is so arrogant, so lost. I want you to listen to this. And the phone lines are open, 800-848-9222. This is Don Lemon. Within the last 24 hours, President Trump called out Don Lemon yesterday in a speech, named him by name. What does Don Lemon do? He sits in front of a camera, plays back part of the president with himself listening and watching the president, and then responds. You talk about downright stupid. He's antagonizing the president of the United States. You can't win, moron. This is Don Lemon right now, looking at himself, watch President Trump, and then responding.
People are trying to protect, because all ICE wants to do is get them out of our country, bring them to prisons and jails and mental institutions from where they came. That's all they want to do. They're patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did in that church was horrible yesterday. Look at it here. 24 convictions. 24 times convicted.
Okay.
Not charges, these are convictions.
I got a lot to say about all of that. He saw me when I walked into that church, whatever. I thought he didn't pay attention to me. Was he at the church? He saw me walk in? Because no one saw me walk in. I walked in after. Anyway, I won't go there. Okay. That's why I'm trending. And yeah. Look, we have a First Amendment, and journalists are protected under the First Amendment. Journalism, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press. And so I believe in the Constitution. I also believe that as a journalist that I have an oath. I feel that I take an oath to bring the story to the American people, to the world, just as doctors and attorneys have oaths to do no harm. And I feel that what would be doing harm to people is by covering things up, is by not bringing light to the situation.
So Don Lemon, 800-848-9222. If you want the inside scoop, he just gave it to you. And it shows how sick he is. I don't know if you caught it, folks, but I'm going to give you the inside scoop right here, right now, to show you how mentally ill Don Lemon is. Here was the key. A few seconds into starting to talk, did you hear him say, "That's why I'm trending"? That's all he cares about. All Don Lemon cares about, he's going to, if he's charged, he's going to have to spend easy $100,000 in legal fees. Easy. If not more. Now, maybe he's got it. Maybe his rich real estate husband has it. But easy, $100,000. And what's important to Don Lemon there? He just said it to you, folks, that he is trending. Those are his words, not mine. Outright, absolutely nuts what the man just said in light of his legal exposure. And if you listen, he's trying to cover himself. Oh, nobody saw me come in. I came in after. Well, I'm not going to go there. That's Don Lemon. I'm going to regret this, but let's go to line one. Melvin in the Bronx. Melvin, good morning. What's on your mind?
I support the mayor of the city of New York.
Wait. You support what? The city of New York? Melvin, you got to talk clearly. I can't understand a word you're saying.
I support the mayor of the city.
You said the mayor? The mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a special election coming up.
Melvin, we're having a bad night. I can't understand a word you're saying.
I was saying there's a special election coming up in February 3rd.
Melvin, have you been drinking tonight? It's very hard to understand. I can't. Go ahead.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't understand what you're saying.
I'll talk about the election that's coming up February 3rd.
Melvin, have you been drinking tonight?
No, you play games with me.
No, I'm not playing games. I'm Melvin. I'm not playing games, Melvin, at all. I'm not playing games. I'm not.
Dominic is done with you.
I'm sorry, Melvin. I can't understand a word you're saying. We're going to take a break, and we are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we are back. The political divide in America. I talk about it quite a bit because it is a very, very, very serious problem that we face as a country. Many of you have called up from time to time stating you believe that we are headed to a civil war. I want to hope and pray it's not that bad, but it is very, very bad. Case in point. Listen to this wild on-air showdown Hannity on Fox confronting a Democrat over ICE remarks. Now, I don't know why this Democrat even went on the show if he was going to engage and do this.
Democratic's Tennessee State Representative Justin Jones is with us. All right, Justin, thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. Now I got a question. On the screen, I'm going to scroll the victims. You live in Tennessee. You're a state rep in Tennessee, correct?
Correct, Sean, and I'm glad you don't even have to go through the theatrics of scrolling a list. I'm glad you brought up a list because if you want
to have me as a guest on your show, invite me. No, I'm scrolling the names not for your benefit, but for the benefit of our listeners, so that they can know the victims of crime in your state.
And I'm glad you're bringing up a list.
So I want to ask you a question about it.
I'm glad you're bringing up a list, because if you want to go after rapists and criminals, you would stop being out with perverts in the White House and pedophiles in the White House, Sean.
Justin, you're not going to get to filibuster. I have a question.
On here.
I have a question. I'm scrolling the names of victims of violent crime. By the way, homicide, rape, sexual assault of
are you going through Trump
charges
or and sodomy, are you going through Trump charges
and drugs? So my question to you is simple.
Or my question, in the White House, or what are we talking about?
My question is, if you'll pay attention long enough to listen, my question is simple. Can you name any of the victims of violent crime by illegals in your state? And have you ever called any of them?
To your viewers,
answer the question.
You to be afraid. He wants you to be fearful of your immigrant neighbors. Because he wants to protect the
can you name one victim of violent crime in your state?
Crime. He hangs out with pedophiles and criminals in Mar-a-Lago. He does not care about going after rapists. He cares about keeping you fearful, to control you, because he wants to distract you from the real enemy, which are the corporate CEOs who are screwing you over.
Okay.
He does not care.
Did you get you got your little talking point out? You feel good about yourself? This is not MSDNC. I'm asking you again. Pay close attention. You're comparing the KKK. What do you know about the KKK? Do you know
I come from
about
Tennessee, where the KKK was founded. They ran my grandparents out of Tennessee. They ran my grandparents out of Tennessee.
At least you know some
my dad was a
crime.
U.S. Marine. He
They
fought
were
for this country.
murderers. They hung people. They assassinated people.
Your pocketbook.
Evil racist. And Gestapo.
Yes.
They
and
led
just
people
like the
to their
of the United
death.
States.
And you're comparing law enforcement that are arresting those criminals,
shooting mothers in the face,
to those people.
Shooting mothers in the face.
Shooting mothers in the face. Did you hear that? Well, why did you leave out the part that she drove the car in reverse, defied the orders of a federal agent, and then drove forward and only veered right? That's what we saw, but it was already too late at that point. Shooting innocent mothers in the face. This is what you get. And again, that's a Tennessee state Democrat, Justin Jones. Why would you go on that man's show and embarrass yourself like that? Why would you do it when you have no intention of answering a single question? All you want to do is fight with the host and get clicks for fundraising dollars. This is what politics, or at least politics on the far left, have become, because you cannot compete with Trump's very successful record. A great year one, year two is off to a phenomenal start. They can't compete with that. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And among the calls we are about to go to is William in central New Jersey. But first, Matt Blaze joining me live right now. So, Matt, I have a question for you because I'm scratching my head.
Yeah.
And the question that I have is, would you go on someone's national TV show for the sole purpose of arguing with them the entire time you're on?
Well, you have to know that obviously, look, this representative, I don't even know his name. You know what I mean? Like I don't right now.
So he's a nobody.
So yeah. So maybe he went on because he could go, oh look, I went on Hannity and I yelled at him. But what happens is they're both talking over each other. Nobody really gets anything out. So it sort of defeats the whole purpose. At least let him ask a question and respond. And Sean Hannity says in the beginning, when he goes, you don't have to go down that list, the theatrics. And he goes, well, Sean goes, well, if you want to invite me on your show, then you can. And the point is saying, this is my show, so I'm going to go down the list because it's my show, and this is what we're doing. So this guy really had no intention of answering any questions. He just wanted to yap, 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 yap. I don't know what he said. I have no idea what he said because he just wouldn't shut up, and he wouldn't even let Sean get a question out. And Sean's mic is always going to take precedence, so you heard him a little bit more. And he was asking him the questions, do you know any of the names of the victims in your state? And he just totally ignored him. Didn't answer any of the questions.
He doesn't know any of the names.
Right, but not only that, but just totally on to something else. So who knows the premise of why they brought him on in the first place, what he was supposed to talk about, what he's supposed to say. But most likely, he probably won't even get invited back to be on anybody's show. So you just shot yourself in the foot.
Absolutely.
Because now you're not going to go on any show. They're never going to have
that
you.
Would be justice in this situation. So the more important question, you've been running. You've been ducking, Matt Plays.
What have I been running for?
How is your dog with doggy daycare? Has she been kicked out or is she still in school?
She is still in school.
All right, we'll take that.
I get a report almost when I pick her up. They tell me if she did good today. I did see her when I picked her up. She was there and there was another dog, and I saw them playing because they have a camera in the little waiting room. So I could see that she was playing with another dog. When I dropped her off this morning, or yesterday morning, there was a lot of dogs there. like the room was filled with dogs. I was like, wow. And they even told me, it was busy this morning. There was a lot for whatever reason. But she did well, which is good. She hasn't been kicked out yet.
So is there somebody whose job is to go around and clean up the poop from all those dogs?
Yeah, they have to watch the dogs, and the dogs just do their thing right there. They're still animals, and you got to go over and you got to pick it up. Ugh. You got to clean it up. You got to spray. They got to mop. They do. I don't know what the floor is made out of. Some sort of material that I guess is easy to clean, obviously, because this is what they do all day long. Because I know in the middle of the day they have little nap time. So at noon. It's like I'm telling you, it's like a daycare, like a nursery school. At noon, they give some of the dogs get lunch.
Oh boy!
And they have nap time from noon to 2.
Oh boy!
To give them a little rest. Mine does not get any. I don't give her any food during the day, so she doesn't get anything. So she gets. I feed her in the morning. I wait about an hour before I will take her there because you got to wait. You don't want them running around. So I wait. And then I'll take her there, and then she's there until from about, 8:30 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Well, we're glad she's doing well, and I will be checking with you on that from time to time, Matt Plays. Thank you so much. Let's go to your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. William, line 1, Central New Jersey. What's on your mind, William?
Dominic, it's really starting to bug me about these people that are causing all these disturbances, preventing ICE from doing their jobs. And, why don't they, fight fire with fire? These people are causing all kinds of problems for them. How come they don't have tear gas there? What's going on?
They do have tear gas. They do.
Oh, they've been using it? I think they should use it more often because these people are not playing around and they're being sponsored by all these other
William, let's think about what you're saying. You think that they can just walk around spraying people with tear gas? There are rules of engagement that dictate when you're allowed to do that. They can't just pull it out and start using it when they want to. That's unrealistic.
No, the point is, though, when it starts to they can feel it. They know when it's getting really heated up. So they need to step it up immediately.
William, I'm going to give you your say. They can't act based on it feels like it's starting to get heated. There are certain rules and understandings and so on. They can't just do. I say this a lot, William. This is not Hollywood. They can't just pull out tear gas because they feel like it's getting heated. There are certain things that legally must occur, because if not, it's an instant lawsuit. You have the final word before I move on.
My question is, like, there's got to be moles that give these people information that, like, when ICE is, like, undercover pulling out these heinous criminals, somebody's giving them information to know that they're there. I think there's, like, moles that are in there, and they're, like, dropping dimes on ICE.
Well, and thank you for the call, William. One, you don't have to drop a dime on ICE. You have people that follow them around all day. That's what Renee Good and her wife was doing, following them around all day long, honking their horns. So you're going in there to get a murderer, a child sexual abuser, and you're losing the element of surprise because there's 5 cars outside blowing their horns loudly, letting the people know, which means that you can be fatally shot in a situation like that. And that's what we're dealing with. But William brought up the issue of ICE. And I want you folks to hear this. This is the head of ICE, Mr. Bavino, talking about the governor of Minnesota and the Mayor Jacob Fry.
For too long, residents have been told that enforcing our nation's immigration laws undermines public safety. In reality, the opposite is true. When the law is not enforced, violent offenders remain free. Criminal networks expand, and the community pays the price. Our neighbors, our citizens, our friends pay the price. Rather than confront that reality of which I've just spoken, leaders like Tim Walz or Mayor Fry have relied on heated rhetoric and accusations that distract from the facts.
And that's exactly what is happening. I want to address something quickly. I just looked at and then I'm going to get to Mom Donnie. I just looked at my Twitter, and I'll see this reoccurring comment every month or so. And the comment goes something like this: Dominic won't let everybody talk and finish their say. Dominic won't let everybody talk and finish their say. Okay, so let's have a real heart-to-heart conversation right now. All of us talk show hosts are in the business of ratings. I addressed this on Saturday in Nutley, New Jersey, on the event for special needs kids. We can see the calls that are generating ratings. The last call said ICE when they feel. We know who are the good callers that spike the ratings. And on the other side, we also know who are the bad callers that tank the ratings. I just want to be very, very clear about this. I don't know. This is not public radio. And even in public radio, they don't have an obligation to let you just talk. If you're talking and you're not saying anything, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do in that situation? If you're just talk, and you're not saying anything of value, what am I supposed to do? You tell me, Matt Blaze, what am I supposed to do when the person is on the air and they're talking and they think that what they're saying is just, it's like sliced bread?
Dominic, before I make my comment,
let me give you 5 conditions.
3 points that I have to make before I make my main point, and then I'll get to the main point. But first, let me get to this other point before I get to that point.
And literally, that's how it sounds. So wait, please, before I go to the next call here, Kearney, New Jersey, Jose, or is it, how does he pronounce that? It is Jorge. Okay, so before I go to Jorge, right, and some other calls, help me, Matt Blaze. why do some callers think? I mean, I would think that myself listening to talk radio, they're only going to go with the compelling callers, and if you're not compelling, you're going to be dumped in a matter of seconds. That's not common sense.
Of course, and people for some reason have this belief that they're entitled to be on. Sometimes they don't want to talk about the topic in hand. How many times I've had to tell people that's not what he's talking about. You know how many times people have called before you've even started talking and they just have whatever their agenda is, and there are people that legitimately think they have a right to be on the air, that you have a right to take their call. There are people that will be on hold and then they will hang up and call back
over and over and
say,
over again.
Why is he taking my call? Look,
okay, well, let me answer that. Let me answer that. So when they call over and over and say, why isn't he taking my call? Because while I'm on the air with you live, I see whether or not you're harassing the call screener. And if you're calling over and over and over again, Matt Blaze can tell you it's guaranteed. You can take it to the bank. I will not be taking your call. It's that simple.
Right.
Am I correct there, Matt?
Right.
Is that the way I operate?
That is correct. And then there are other times, and this has happened, and we've talked about this, where I will tell people on the phone, I will tell Dominic is not going to like that, or that's not what the topic is, or don't bring that up. Don't say this because this is what's going to happen. And they insist. And I go, okay, I'll let Dominic tell you. And then sure enough, that's exactly what happens.
Right. So I
try to spare them. I do. I try to spare them. And I've told them, I'm telling you now, I'm sparing you because you will feel the wrath of Dominic Carter.
Quickly.
I'm telling you, this is not what we're doing right now.
I have zero patience.
And they insist.
Right.
That they will okay, or they'll say okay, and then they'll still bring up what we told them not to bring up.
So someone just posted, Dominic he'll take your call and then he'll cut you short because he has a commercial break. Duh! If we have a commercial break, how do you think we pay the bills? Are you out of your mind? This is the national show airing in many cities across the country. We have hard outs. I could be in the middle of talking. At a certain point, Blaze is warning me. This is what happens, folks. Because I want to deal with this. I'm going to get to Jorge in a minute. When Blaze starts the music, that means I've got generally 15 seconds. Shut up or your mic will be shut off because the affiliates have to go to a commercial break. And every now and then you'll hear where I'm still talking and boop, there goes a commercial because I went over the time frame. And so I can't extend that for anyone. Jorge, Kearney, New Jersey, excuse me, line 1, what's on your mind?
Dominic, man, you're smarter than the average bear. I've been listening to this radio since I was a kid. I'm first-time caller. I agree with a lot of stuff you say, and Rita Cosby and all the years I love you guys. So I kind of lived the same life you did, like I heard you talking about your mom, and I was almost like I don't want to change the subject, what you guys are talking about, almost in the same situation like that. I had a stepbrother that had psychological problems, and he had threw my dog off the 4th floor fire escape, killed my dog in 1968. And Geraldo Rivera snapped the case. We came from Brooklyn, but I live in Jersey now when I was 7 years old.
Wait, Jorge, the things that you're saying right now are important to me. If you can hold for a couple of minutes, because I've got to take a break, I'll try and deal with your call as soon as we come back. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And before we go to Mike and St. James, I'm talking with Jorge in Kearney, New Jersey. So what I heard, Jorge, is you said you and I have a lot in common. And wait, let me just finish. And Dominic talk what that means, and it happens a lot these days. I would say 8 or 9 times a day. That's on the mental health front, I believe. And you just said, I believe you said you had a mentally ill brother. My mother was mentally ill, and you said your brother threw the dog off the window or something like that. But go ahead.
Correct. My stepbrother, he had threw my dog off the fourth floor fire escape in 1968. I was 14, and we lived in fear because I had to lock my bedroom door to keep from him attacking the family. You know, and he would he had psychological problems. So we
okay.
lived
So
like,
wait, Jorge, because I don't have all night. I'm sorry. Why are you telling me these things?
Because I listened to you a lot on the radio, and I remember you talking about your mom and everything.
Right.
And I said, I got to call this guy up one night and talk to him. And of course, we lived similar to the same family life, you know. But I don't want to hold you up.
What impact did that have on you, your stepbrother with mental illness?
Well, it had an impact on our whole family. We were afraid because people would come, and they would come at, if he didn't like you or something, he'd throw a brick through your window. You know, he was violent. If he didn't take his medicine, almost the same situation like you. And my mom would put him in Trenton State Hospital. But I was born in Brooklyn, but we came to Jersey when I was 7 years old, and he was in Willowbrook State Hospital. And they closed them down. Geraldo Rivera had snapped the case.
Right.
Back in 68. So there's a long story. I don't want to hold you up because I know you're a busy man. And
no. I'm not too busy for real stories impacting Americans. I'm sorry, Jorge, that you had to go through that with your brother. Is he still alive? Stepbrother, is he still alive?
He got killed. He got killed on 280. He got hit by a car in 1985. You know,
but this is still a scar for you now.
I'm sorry?
This is still a scar for you now?
I forgive him because he had psychological problems. I'm 71 now. This was back when I was like 14, years ago. But I had heard you talk, and I said, man, I lived the same kind of family life. We lived in fear. He had ran away from the hospital and came home in 68. And it's almost the same situation,
I hear you, Jorge, and thank you for the call. The only difference that I can, based on what you're saying, is that when my mother, as a chronic paranoid schizophrenic, if she didn't take her medication and she turned on me, that meant that I was often headed to the local emergency room as a child. And, there is one scar. There is one scar. Mike, I'm coming to you in St. James amongst the calls here. There is one scar from at least one that I know of. I'm sure there are plenty in my life. Or subconsciously about my mom, is that, and this may sound weird, but what really bothers me is that my mother spent many hours in straitjackets and padded rooms. Literally, this is not a joke. This is real life situation. And one thing that bothers me, even today, sometimes when I have brand new shirts, right? And I'll put them on, and I can't unbutton the top button, and I'll start spazzing out, literally, where my wife has to help me get out of that shirt because I start thinking about what it was like for my mother in a straitjacket where she couldn't even move her arms and just sit there. And so that's one of the things that bothers me. Before I run out of time, line 2, Mike in St. James. Mike, what's on your mind? I'm sorry, you got like 20 seconds.
Is the government finding out who's financing the paid protesters?
Of course they are, Mike, but follow me on this. This is not Hollywood. They're not going to show their hand. They're not going to tell you until they... Do you think President Trump is stupid? That's a rhetorical question. We all know the answer is no. The man is a genius. He's not going to play his hand publicly, just like he didn't do so with Greenland. He's going to wait until he's ready to pounce, until it's the appropriate time, and then his people will come forward and reveal that information with criminal charges. I am back at 3 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day, folks.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.